I'm David Friday. I'm marketing manager for a company called Fridays. We produce and market eggs, and we also produce and market chilled products to sandwich bars and food service companies. We produce sandwich fillings, salads and dips. Fridays are vertically integrated, so we try to do as much in-house as we possibly can. Now that involves producing our own eggs, it involves collecting our own eggs, marketing them, managing the sales, logistics, right through to helping our customers brand and manage their products on shelf. Every year we're looking at about 4 billion eggs sold to UK consumers. Fridays make up a fairly small portion of that. We're about 6% of the market. We supply two different types of customer. Major supermarkets make up the majority of our supply. We supply intensively produced eggs, barn, free range and organic, and that satisfies consumer demand right across the spectrum. We also supply food service companies, and they're more focused on intensively produced eggs, mainly because caterers use them, they arrive on your plate and the consumer doesn't necessarily have to purchase them, knowing how they're produced. The majority of egg in UK supermarkets is own label branded, so it'll have the retailer's brand on the package. There are a small proportion of eggs that are branded. These add interest to the egg category moreover than actually selling a large volume. So we will help the supermarkets with their branding so that they can present their brand values better on pack. But to add interest, whether it be a healthier egg, a value-added egg, then we will produce and brand that ourselves. The UK market is leagues ahead in terms of free-range production. Actually, 40% of free-range egg in Europe is produced in the UK. As a company, we try to produce egg in the same proportions that the market takes it. So we're about 60% intensive production, 30% free-range, and the rest will be made up with organic and barn production. Pricing will depend on the customer. To a major supermarket, it will be determined by cost, and generally we'll have a fixed margin, and as costs move, the price of the supermarket will move. Supermarkets have a very close insight into how production costs are managed. With the wholesale market, it is very much driven by supply and demand, and where the market is, where the surpluses are, and how we have to react to that. Eggs are a staple food item, so people will always buy eggs. It'd be very difficult to outprice it. However, we do have to be careful. For example, organic eggs, that market has stagnated somewhat because it's overpriced. The cost of organic wheat, for example, has driven the price of the egg on shelf too high, and now the customer has moved away from it, and growth has slowed in the organic category. Fridays is a very centralised business. We have 12 sites, all within 10 miles of the head office. This allows cost savings throughout the business, and it also helps our environmental credentials. Food miles are very topical at the moment, as are CO2 emissions. In fact, our major supermarket customers are requiring us now to supply local brands. So we have a number of local supply lines that will end up in the major multiples, which will be local to Kent, Essex and Sussex.
Chickens nowadays will lay something like 300 eggs per year, and that's across their real laying cycle. It will potentially take anything from 2 days, maybe up to 3 or 4, depending on the type of egg, the husbandry or farming method used for that egg, be it a free range or an organic, etc. will vary, but anything from 2 days for a fresh egg from the chicken into the supermarket and to yourselves. The way that the egg gets from the farm to the supermarket shelf will depend according to the production method that we're using. Organic and free range will be laid in the sheds where the birds are living. They'll be collected normally on a daily basis. They're then stacked on a palletised system, taken across to our main production facilities where they're graded, which means that we check them for size, weight, defects, etc. And they will then be categorised, stamped with the relevant coding and put into packs for going to the consumer. They're then held in our warehouse. We have our own fleet of lorries that will distribute to where they're needed. Any egg that we are producing will be very low food miles, And in fact, most of the food miles are incurred getting it to the end consumer via the retailer and also in the consumer's car back to their home. Until quite recently, the real key to the industry was organic, and it was the real growth. Now it's much more regionality, and some of the major retailers out there are now having dedicated regional products which are on shelf. We supply some of these. We definitely feel there's a point of difference we can give. Fridays as a company is based in the southeast of England, and we're the only company that are. So we're the only ones who are able to offer local eggs into the most dense consumer area of the country, and where egg consumption is the highest.